If there's one man who knows a thing or two about success, it's John D. Rockefeller, the world's first billionaire. This guy was so rich that if you compare his fortune to the fortune of the richest man today, which is Elon Musk, John D. Rockefeller would be 2 times richer than Elon. The cool thing is that Rockefeller's financial success secret lies in just a few core principles that anybody can follow today. They are timeless, they worked 100 years ago, they work today, and will continue working 100 years in the future. In this video, I'm going to break down the core principles Rockefeller used to never have to work again. And more importantly, I'll show you how to apply his compounding strategy to your own marketing. Because once you stop transporting your oil in expensive wooden barrels, you'll finally have a business that grows while you sleep. Let's get into the video. Track your money. At age 7, Rockefeller had his first business venture, raising turkeys on a neighbor's farm. Following his mother's advice, he kept a ledger of all his income and expenses, every penny in, every penny out, written down every single time. He took it so seriously that it's been said he kept that original ledger until the day he died. Think about that. The world's first billionaire still holding onto a notebook from his turkey farm days. And just a few years later, thanks to these skills he developed as a kid, he became an accountant, landing his first job at a grain trading company, where he quickly worked his way up from assistant accountant to manager. The man who would become the world's first billionaire started by knowing exactly where every cent was going. Because if you don't know your numbers, you can't control them. And if you can't control them, you can't grow them. But knowing his numbers was only the beginning. Borrow smart, pay on time. Rockefeller knew he had a dead-end job. So when a businessman named M.B. Clark offered him a partnership in a grain trading business, he jumped on it. The only problem was that each partner needed to put up $2,000. Rockefeller had saved $700. So he borrowed the rest from his father at 10% yearly interest. And so began the firm, Clark and Rockefeller. Clark handled the buying and selling. Rockefeller handled the finances and accounting. The business boomed, and as it grew, they needed more capital. So Rockefeller walked into a local Cleveland bank and asked for a $2,000 loan. That first loan was the start of a long-lasting friendship between Rockefeller and his banker, who lent to John for years, all the way through the creation of the Standard Oil Company. Because Rockefeller always stuck to his word. He paid every single time, even when things got tough and cash was tight. His reputation grew so strong that bankers across the United States didn't hesitate to open their vaults for him. And every loan he took was to grow his business. Not to buy clothes or get a fancy car. Because smart borrowing means borrowing to invest in something that makes you more back. And when you pay it back on time, every single time, you build a reputation that gets you access to bigger and bigger loans. And bigger loans meant he could grow his business more and more. But even as the money started coming in, Rockefeller never changed his ways. Live below your means. Although he was a very wealthy man, the oil tycoon never dressed in expensive suits. He was actually quite the opposite. He was known for having habits of austerity. See, when you start making more money, it can be tempting to start spending more. How many people, as soon as they make some bucks, start spending on banalities and trivialities, unnecessary things like designer clothes? However, if you want to maintain your wealth, or even grow it, it is important to resist this temptation and continue living a relatively simple lifestyle. Capital preservation is an economic principle that states that you should value money at the same level whether you have it in abundance or not. Although you shouldn't be stingy, don't squander money when you do get it. Money must be valued, otherwise it will vanish as fast as it came. But Rockefeller wasn't just hoarding cash to be cheap. He was strategic, always thinking 3 moves ahead. Because the oil industry was coming. And when it arrived, Rockefeller was ready to conquer it. Innovate. In 1870, Rockefeller spotted an opportunity to venture into the oil industry, so he gathered a couple of partners and founded the Standard Oil Company. But the oil industry in those days was an absolute mess. Everyone was doing things the hard way. Oil was transported in wooden barrels on the back of horses. This was slow, expensive, and inefficient. At one point, the wood to make the barrels cost more than the oil inside them. The refineries weren't much better. Back in the day, there were improvised sheds that constantly caught on fire, resulting in huge financial losses. At the time, everyone believed that oil was going to run out soon, so the oilmen never considered investing in infrastructure. However, when Rockefeller began to export oil, he quickly realized he needed a better way to move it. So he ditched the horses and the barrels and became the first person in the United States to transport oil in tanks by rail. He paid for this equipment out of his own pocket and even equipped the railroads for free. The oil volume trade by Rockefeller and his associates was so immense that in return, the railroad lowered the tariff. This way, Rockefeller was able to transport more oil for less money per barrel and standardize the quality of his product, giving him a competitive advantage that allowed him to put other companies out of business, buy them, or force them into the Standard Oil Company. Now, you can imagine the impact John D. Rockefeller had on this industry. It was a complete revolution. The Standard Oil Company grew so much and was so big that it ended up having control of 90% of U.S. refining capacity. And here's where the business lesson comes in: how to apply Rockefeller's principles to your business and digital marketing today. When you look at everything Rockefeller did, the borrowing, the frugality, the innovation, there's one thing underneath all of it: a compounding strategy. Every dollar that came in went straight back into the business to build and develop the infrastructure that made selling oil inevitable. The refineries processed it, the railroads moved it, the tanks stored it. Every piece of the system fed the next one automatically. That's exactly what a properly built email marketing system does for your business. Someone finds you on Instagram or YouTube or Google. They subscribe to your email list. Your welcome sequence introduces them to who you are and what you do automatically. Your nurture sequence builds trust and answers your objections automatically. Your offer sequence converts them into a paying client automatically. You don't have to be there. You don't have to follow up manually. The infrastructure does it for you. See, Rockefeller didn't wait until he was rich to invest in his infrastructure. He invested in his infrastructure to get rich. Most business owners wait. They say, I'll set up my email marketing when I have more leads, or I'll build my list when I have more time, or I'll set up the sequences when the business is bigger. That's like Rockefeller saying, I'll build the refinery when I have more oil. It doesn't work that way. The pipeline creates the flow, not the other way around. And the beautiful thing about email, unlike oil refineries, is that it doesn't cost a fortune to build, and once it's up and running, it compounds. Every subscriber is a future client waiting to hear from you. Every email moves them closer to buying. Every sequence you build is a salesperson that never sleeps. 12 months from now, the businesses that started building the infrastructure today are going to look at their results and feel exactly how Rockefeller felt watching Standard Oil swallow the entire industry. And the ones who waited? They'll still be carrying oil in wooden barrels. Quick side note, if you're a business owner who needs help building or improving your email marketing, our team at thekissmarketing.com can help. Details are in the description below. Now that you know that investing in a solid email system can compound into an empire, don't sleep on it. Because while you're watching this, your competitors are setting up their infrastructure. Don't be the one still transporting oil in wooden barrels. Go innovate in your business. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more business stories. And if you're interested in digital marketing strategies and tools to grow your business as Rockefeller did, check the first link in the description. We share weekly breakdowns on the KISS Marketing Substack. Go check it out.